This ring gear is there just in case that one fails. No, it's just kidding.
Hey guys, today in this video we're going to be building the first of two adapters to join the C5 Corvette driveline to the 390 FE that came out of this car. Yeah, we're keeping the 390 for sentimental reasons. It's a good, strong engine, nothing wrong with it. If you're just tuning into this channel and you're kind of scratching your head at what I just said, check out the previous videos on this project in the playlist and it should make a little more sense. The first adapter is to bolt the flywheel to the engine. Second adapter, which we won't get into today, is to bolt the torque tube to the 390 FE bell housing. That's going to be an episode in itself. So first thing I think we're going to do before we draw anything out is I'm going to show you what we're working with. Go over 390, check out the back and see what we have to do. And then we'll get into some dimensions and measuring the stuff out so we can get this to the machine shop and have my guy make us a piece. Let's go take a look and see what we're working with, starting with the engine. Can't do any body work until we get all this sorted out. Okay, so here we have the old 390. We have to do some work on to clean it up and whatever, but that will come in due time. As you can see, we've got the flex plate bolted. We're using 3 bolts for now. Just this is mock-up. Don't get too stressed out about it. And we're going to be using an upgraded version of the original starter. The original one, it literally smoked the next time we went to fire the car up after the first start video. Which fire in the hole. Nope. Hold up, let me give it some more. Just probably burnt off what was in here. We don't have a fuel pump installed and we got quite a leak out of that.
Okay?
Yeah. So what we have to do is get some dimensions to allow us to bolt the new adapter to this surface here and space everything out accordingly so that this throw bearing surface here has to be spaced away from these fingers about an 1/8, heavy 1/8, 3/16 to allow a little air gap so that as the clutch wears and these fingers move back, you don't mess anything up. The bell housing, that's a given distance. We'll need probably a 1/2 inch adapter plate to bolt this torque tube to that. As I said, we're not getting into that today, but we have to take that into account for the adapter. So I think first thing what we'll do is we'll throw you on a sketch, lay out all the components on paper, and start getting some dimensions. So yeah, that was one of the original sketches we were working with. That's stock, and I was fooling around with a bit of a roadster version, but given our climate, a roof suits our client much better. Okay, so let's start here. We got the back side of the engine. That's the part the bell housing bolts to. We have our flex plate with that little step in there. We're going to have some teeth. It's a hungry one. We've got our adapter with a distance of something, we don't know that, that's why we had to figure that out. We have our flywheel, a little bit smaller. There, and some more teeth. Don't want the flex plate to be left out. Pressure plate, boom. Our fingers, step back. We have our throwout bearing. Now I'm spacing things out a little bit to make it a little bit clearer. We have our adapter, which we're not doing today. That's the 1/2 inch adapter for the bell housing. Then we have our torque tube, just like that. I'll probably do that, that's fine. So we need to figure out the distance to here of, that's the mounting surface on the torque tube of the throwout bearing. We know that's 1/2 inch. We need to know the distance to the fingers from the mounting surface of the flywheel. X of the flywheel. There's a 1/8 gap in here, so we have to take that into account. 1/8 or 0.125. And we need to know the distance from the surface of the engine. I need to get the mounting surface location, so we're going to kind of backtrack. So from the mounting surface of the the flex plate, we need to know that distance, and then we need to subtract the distance that this goes inward. So we need that dimension, and that will give us the distance for the mounting surface for the adapter. So let's go to the engine, measure that up, and then come back here and start filling in the rest of the numbers. Now, one thing we can do is get some little formulas here set up. So we need to know the distance of the clutch to the fingers plus the 1/8 and the distance of the throwout bearing, X of the throwout. The other thing we have to figure out is, that's one thing, they give us a value. We need to know the distance of the bell housing. We need to subtract the distance of the mounting surface, and then we need to add our 1/2" adapter, 0.5, we know that. And that will give us a value. And then we will subtract this from this to give us the distance of the adapter. And then we'll go through and we'll double check that physically on the table here. Okay, so I'm just going to throw this straight edge across that flex plate and measure down and into the mounting surface. You gotta be careful, don't sit on those welds. That'll throw things for us. And, come on, did I tighten it? Yeah, I did. Slide that in really easy. And what we have is 2.252. But we have to subtract the thickness of this ruler. So, calculator. Okay, and I get a number of 1.0625. So from the surface to there. Now we need to measure the depth into the mounting surface for the adapter. 1.578 minus the distance of the ruler, and that gives us 0.403. We got to subtract the 2, 1.0, 0.659. Now, for the surface of the throwout bearing, we've got this spring in here that's pushing it out. We need to remove that spring. Like that. So that we can push this all the way in. And we get a number of 2.45 for that, and that's to the face of that. I'm not including the 1/2" plate yet. Bell housing, let's see here, 2.45 on the dot. Okay. Before I do that, let's do this. We need to go to the finger. Okay, each time I've done it, 3.159. And the thickness of this plate is 1/8. 3.159 minus 3.019. Okay. So if we add those up, I don't know why I cancel that, 0.19 plus 0.125 plus throwout bearing of 2.45 gives us 5.594. All right. That. Let's put this over here. It's on the plate. Zero it. Too short. This won't work. That's okay. We're sitting at, you have a flat like this, you can move it. Stand it up on edge, 7.25 on the dot. So 7.25 minus the mounting surface of 0.659 plus the 1/2 inch. Minus 0.659. 7.091. Then we subtract this value here, which is the package for the spacing for the flywheel and the clutch. 5.594 is equal to, what's down here, 1.497. 1.497. So that is the thickness of our adapter. You can say 1.5, but that's starting to tighten up our air gap. I'd sooner have a little bit wider. So even 1.49 is so darn close. We'll have machined, and then if we need to adjust it, we can. You can always add a shim underneath the throwout bearing as well if we need to do anything. But we'll start with this as a starting point. What I want to do is do a physical check to see what we're working with the bits and pieces instead of numbers. Another way of approaching it and checking your values. Now I've gone through and I have scrounged some bits and pieces to give us a spacing of 0.659, and those two together on top of the plate is what's going to get us there. Set that down. We're going to take and get a dimension to the fingers and then subtract 1/8 of an inch, and I think we can get away with this. Zero that. Now the fingers are not level 100%. What we can do is use that little plate I had. That's, if I can find it. You guys see where it went in? That way I don't have to do individual fingers. I can do average across the top with, where'd it go? Do I have to get another one? We'll get another plate here. And we can drop down. So that accounts for our air gap there. And we need to subtract the ruler. Okay, 4 point. Look what I found. The plate. Let's do it again using that plate. I like that one better. I've got that located. We're going to zero this out. We're going to drop down. Very carefully. .7 minus the thickness of the ruler. Add half an inch of the plate. That gives us 4.026, but we need to know the thickness of the adapter to bring this whole flywheel assembly upward towards the throwout bearing. We have our 1/8 plate accounted for already, 2.45. And we're sitting at 1.499, 1.5. Good. So the adapter we have to make is going to be 1.499, 1.497 high, perfect. We might end up machining a little bit off of it to give us a little more clearance for our fingers, because I'm not sure if there's any shims back in here. I haven't disassembled that yet. So the other thing I have to do is figure out the pilot bushings, the part to hold the shaft into the adapter, as well as mounting the adapter into the pilot bushing seat on the engine, on the crankshaft. So those numbers have to be figured out too, but this is the crucial part here, to figure out how high of an adapter we need to join this, to make sure the flywheel works with the throwout bearing properly, or the pressure plate and fingers and all that stuff. Okay, I'll draw this up, get this done. Here you go.
Quite warm.
Yeah, fresh off the lathe.
Whoa. Looking good.
Freshly baked, freshly turned.
Wow.
So this is going to be our adapter. We've got place for the pilot bushing. This is the flywheel side. This is the flex plate side. Counter board to allow for these socket cap screws to go down inside below the surface. So you see if it fits. Quite a bit of work to get it to that stage. Flex plate first.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe that's it right there. Yeah. Okay.
Looks good.
Ford Moco symbol is on top, just to make it easier to find the bolt pattern.
This is supposed to fit in that.
Yep.
Okay. The other thing, we've got to make sure that the trough is large enough that it doesn't ride on that chamfer. Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
It bottoms out.
it feels good.
Good.
It feels really good.
Let's get some bolts into it. Now we got to find. Pardon me. Where's a little?
Right there.
Little light. Ah, thank you. Now we got to go looking for holes. No. 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 Okay, I think, yeah, that's it. Okay, start the top one. No, yeah.
Find a cap that will clean that up.
Yep. 7/16 National Fine. Did he make? No.
Does it have a guide pen?
Nope. As it is. Okay. Get a socket for that. Sorry.
Here is actually redundant. It probably will be removed.
We'll just heat it up. I can see spaces underneath when you look from the other side.
Yeah.
So we'll just warm it up, take it off.
Take it off, yeah.
Okay.
Pressure plate.
Yeah, but
clutch and pressure plate.
yeah, I don't have. This is just to see if our spacing is right. Let me get the bolts for the pressure plate.
Okay.
Yep.
This goes through, yeah, it'll go through.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, there's a guide pin here, right?
Yep. I just gotta line it up. I'll pick it up. Here, bolt. It's just we gotta center that thing with this floppy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get the top.
Where's the guide pin?
Oh, we forgot the bell housing. Okay, stop. I gotta pick up the back, get a piece of 3/4 plywood in there.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna sit down again.
Sounds good.
That's better.
Yeah, I know.
Right there.
I was in the wrong hole.
The one up at the top.
All right.
Neat. We should have washers on them.
We will. Well, this is just mock up.
Yeah.
I have a lock washer on mine. You should have one for you somewhere. There's one with a lock washer. The rest are in the container. Okay.
I'm gonna hold that ruler.
It's gonna go like that. Come in. We're gonna average out the teeth. 3.13. Let's go up a bit. 3.09. A little higher. Down. 3.10. So call it 3.10. 3.10 minus 1 inch for the ruler is 1 inch, right?
Yeah.
1 inch is 2.10 plus ½ inch adapter plate. 2.6. And the dimension we have from the previous measurement on the throwout bearing was 2.45 minus 2.45. We need to have at least 1/8 of an inch. So between 1/8 and 3/16. So we can have them adapter.
Machine the 16th off.
Take off another 1/16.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll have enough clearance because as this clutch wears, these fingers move back, and we don't want it riding on the throwout bearing. So that will take care of it. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. I'll take it in tomorrow morning. All right, guys. So adapter almost works. We need to make a few tiny adjustments to it. Take off a 1/16. We'll bolt it all back on once it's all together, and then we can go ahead and start making our adapter plate. Meanwhile, we'll do other stuff. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel with your friends. A lot more coming.